I was an early bird when it comes to the Steam Deck, and that was not something they have been sending in to review. No, I bought it in the scalper jungle, so I overpaid way too much for the Steam Deck. And I must be honest, like at first I was quite disappointed, because when it was launched it was not really great. And after a couple of months having it in my collection now, I must say that this thing has a lot of awesome things to offer. So when I did the unboxing, I wanted to do it back in the day with you guys, and I think it's just a pretty damn cool experience. There was nothing much in the box beside like a charger and the Steam Deck. I did purchase the 512 GB model, the very deluxe edition, and came basically with some, let's say, cool goodies when you're looking at the digital part of it. But in this video I want to focus on how is it after a couple of months. I've tried a lot of different things, let's say indie games, more demanding games through Steam. We have like played some emulation. There is so much stuff that you can do with this gigantic beast. But is it something still worth picking up? Because in the near future a lot of new handhelds will come out and we have more things to offer than the Steam Deck. Sometimes even like smaller than the freaking Steam Deck itself. So it only came with a cleaning cloth. There are a lot of peripherals out there, but we're going to make a separate video about that if you want to. But let's talk about the system itself and what we can do with it. I love the smell. But how about the comfortability and how the device itself work? Because I'm just going to be honest, this is more like an unboxing experience that I want to share with you. But I must say, like after like holding it in my hand for a very long time, there are some things I really noticed that I personally really like. But when you take a close look at the design and how comfortable it is, so let's start about with the D-pad itself. So the D-pad, I must say that I wasn't sure because it's very weirdly placed here at the corner. But by pressing it, it is very nice and it got a very nice touch to it in combination with a very good travel. But how comfortable is it when it comes playing with the D-pad? That is something that we're going to find out in the upcoming days or maybe weeks when I'm going to post my full review about it. I just wanted to check it out, and when it comes to the quality and the feel, I'm very happy with it. Also with the buttons over here with the ABXY, everything looks and feels like it is in the right position. The traction pad is a feature that I wanted to try out myself because this is going to be a very different experience than having like a use with analog sticks. So at the back we're going to get ourselves 4 buttons, 4, let's say, I almost wanted to say shoulder buttons, more like back buttons. There are clickies, but they can be reached fairly easy. I would say this is going to be like a different experience. The shoulder buttons itself, then we're going to get the L2 and the R2. These are basically like your typical, let's say, shoulder trigger buttons, but the shoulder buttons itself are like very nice clickies micro switch buttons. So I must say that I'm very pleased just to see how this thing holds and how it feels. So at the top we're going to get the volume control. We're even going to get a headphone jack out. Here we're going to get a ventilation rotor for basically exhaust of the heat. Then we're going to get ourselves the Type-C for connecting and charging. And here we're going to get the on and off switch. So let's turn it on, because I'm really curious if the thing has any juice. But okay guys, so the first thing that we need to do is set up the device itself. So the first thing that we need to do is choose our language that you wanted to use. And you can see like Steam provided a lot of different languages. But for this video I'm going to choose English. The next thing that we need to do is choose our time zone. And that is of course very important. And so let's choose one that we are going to use. And when connected, the first thing that this thing needs to do is installing all of the new application updates. Like everything nowadays. Okay, so the next step that we need to do is basically creating an account, and if you're already owning an Steam account, you can basically use that, fill in your name and your password, and of course double check your verification, and you can just log in into your account. Alright, so when the system has been booted up, you have logged in into your account and bought your games, or in my case that you're having the games that you're already owning. So the first thing I'm noticing with the layout itself, that it is very nice, stylish, like the Steam Big Picture mode, and the way they basically like implemented everything is very nice. So first of all, here we're going to get the games that are like compatible 100% working with the Steam Deck, and of course take consideration this piece of hardware will run on Linux. There are some different ways you can basically like run your games, and later on videos I will show you. But here we're going to get all of my games, then we're going to get the installed games that I already like installed now. Then we're going to get, of course, my favorite list that I made with my PC. And here we're going to get our collections that I've made with my PC too. So basically, and that is something I love about Steam in general, that basically everything that you own will basically be importable now. But besides the Steam Deck, of course, we're also going to need some extra peripherals, and that's what I'm going to talk about today, and I'll explain you how you need to set it up and how to get MUGEN working on your Linux-based or SteamOS piece of software. The next thing that you're going to need is a Type-C to a USB hub. I recommend just getting this. There are also like USB to Type-C, but this is more convenient because we do have like an option to hook up multiple devices. This is the 6-in-1. This one comes even including an SD card function, but we're not going to need that. I'm just going to use in this video the 4-in-1. So this device basically plugs in the top of the Type-C connection and will convert to also an HDMI out, so you can use this thing like in game system. Then we're going to need 2 USB connections, and we're going to need an extra Type-C over here because we need to have the power supply implemented into this video, but also in the hub itself. And the reason, I'll explain you why. In my case, I'm going to use this 2.5-inch hard drive, and this one doesn't have any external power supply. So we're going to need the original power supply from the Steam device to basically like get the juice to get this thing spinning. But if you have like a 3.5-inch or one with an external power supply, I think it's not really necessary. But in this video, I'm going to need it. Okay, another thing that we're going to need is a keyboard, because we need to reconfigure MUGEN for basically the device. Because when you plug in your controller, or in this case the internal controllers of the Steam Deck, it doesn't work and it will not recognize instantly. So we need to do a little bit reconfiguring. So a keyboard is something that is really necessary to configure the MUGEN for your Steam Deck. Another thing you need to take consideration, if you're having the 64GB or don't have enough storage, you can also use an SD card. And with SD card or micro SD, you can put it in here, like format it with the SteamOS and get yourself some more storage. Files of MUGEN are like a couple of gigabytes, so it's not going to be a huge SD card you're going to need. Let's say 128GB is more than enough, but it's something that you need to take consideration. Okay guys, so the next thing that we need to do is basically going to the desktop mode. So when your system is boot up into the SteamOS, then you need to go to power, then we need to switch to desktop. That is the first thing you need to do, because we need to have more like this emulator or program called Proton that we need to download from the store itself. Okay guys, so the next thing that we need to do is delete everything because it's going to be freaking annoying. Blah 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 blah. The application has been installed, so that is the thing that we're going to need to boot up when it comes to MUGEN. So the next thing that we need to do is get ourselves the attachment over here. We need to plug it in. And also the other thing that I'm going to do is basically use a normal mouse. I personally just love it. So that's what we're going to do. So let's grab myself the mouse and the hard drive and the power supply. Alright, so let's grab the mouse. And the reason why, because I think it's more convenient to drag and drop or copy paste your files. But of course, this is more like a personal thing. Here you can see that it's going to be recognized instantly. Okay, so the next thing is very important. You need to hook up first your power supply, in my case, and then we're going to use the hard drive. If you're going to do the other way around, it's going to be messy. Sometimes my adapter is going to be like going crazy and everything is disabled. So that's a very important thing. Alright, so the power supply has been connected, and the next thing that we're going to do is plug in the hard drive itself. Okay, here I already have some folders I pre-installed on my device, but I wanted to show you how this actually works. So the next thing we need to do is mounting the new device, and that is the thing that we're going to do first. Okay guys, so the next thing that we're going to do is go to the right bottom corner. If you didn't have any notification, you press the most recent device. Left mouse click. Here you can see like we have a new volume. That's basically how I called my hard drive. Pressing left click again here on mount and open. By pressing this, it will activate the device and will pop up over here. So basically what you can do here is that we're going to like navigate through the hard drive itself. So in my case, I want to have the MUGEN folder. Pressing right click, and with left click you can copy or cut it. And if you have like a single file you want to grab from the hard drive, you can do it over here. You can copy paste it. For example, if you want to copy paste Alien vs Predator or something else, then we do the copy. Can go to the direction or the device part of the device when you want to store it. For example, you want to have the internal hard drive, and what you also can do like the primary, like the SD card I have formatted with the SteamOS. Right click, then you can say like getting the extra options, and left click if you want to paste it over here, or you want to have it like in a different folder than here. So basically that's the way how you need to navigate through the folders and copy paste it from the hard drive to your Steam Deck. But okay, now we're having the system files on my Steam Deck and we want to play. The next thing I need to do is opening Steam, because we need to have like the MUGEN game installed on the Steam OS, otherwise it doesn't recognize the internal controls. So the next thing we need to do is going over here, add a game. So pressing add a game, browse the Steam store, or you can choose like activate a product on Steam, but this is one that we're going to need. This is the add a non-Steam game. So next up we need to browse to our internal storage. And this is going to be depending where you have basically added the file to your collection. So what you need to do basically is browse to your folder and search for the game itself. Because that is the thing that we need to do, otherwise we cannot basically add it to the non-Steam list. Okay, so boot it up, where we're going to get this menu. Press the Steam button, go to library over there. Next thing we need to do is going to the non-Steam. You can see like I have a lot of stuff already installed. But what I want to show you, we're going to try out Mortal Kombat Project. Click on it, but we don't need to boot it up. The first thing we need to go to the settings, pressing over here, properties. The next thing we need to do is compatibility. And here you can see I already like added the compatibility. But for you, this hasn't been checked. So the next thing you need to do is check this. And if everything is going to be alright, you're going to get the GM Proton 7 stripe number 10. So depending on like when you're going to like do it yourself, there are a lot of different versions out there. I was just like lucky to having this latest version. And I can say like it's going to be working very well. Okay, next up, that's it. Press play and we're going to boot up instantly into the MUGEN game engine. What I do like about it, if you want to exit the game, you're just going to press Steam. And here we can basically go out of the game. But okay, so next up, so the game is working, but we don't have any controls yet. Depending on what kind of MUGEN engine they are using with the game, it's really depending how we can configure the controls itself. But that's the next step. Okay guys, so the next step that we need to do is attaching a keyboard, because that is what we're going to need. So I'm going to unplug my hard drive over here, and we're going to put in a freaking keyboard. I'm going to use the big one, not one smaller one I've shown you, because I think this is one of the easiest way, but I'm going to get the old school keyboard, simply because it's more easy for me to reconfigure everything. Okay, so next up what we need to do is configure the joypad. And the only thing to do is like we're needing a freaking keyboard. So it's going to be old school. Let's go through the option itself. Depending on how they configure the keyboard into the game itself. In my case it's Z over there. Next thing we need to do is going to the input configuration. And that is the next thing that we need to do, pressing F1 for example. Okay, so another thing they sometimes like disabled is the controller settings. So over here you can see like it's already enabled with mine, but you need to put it on enabled. Sometimes if they disable it, you cannot really configure anything. Next thing we need to do is going to joystick configuration. Enter doesn't work, so press the freaking Z button, wicked. And let's take a close look at the configuration over here. Okay, so next up we need to do pressing the F1 over here. When pressing that, then we can reconfigure everything. But I've noticed now we're going to use the D-pad with up, down, left, right. And you can even see the analog stick also works. But what I've noticed with some of those MUGEN that the D-pad is disabled somehow, doesn't recognize. So this is a little bit of a bummer because I am the D-pad guy. So then we're going to like configure the D-pad as up, down, left, right, A, B, X, Y, or A, B, C, H, Y, and Y, Z. The trigger button, same story, doesn't work. We can press start and that's it. I recommend using the escape and not a different button, otherwise you're going to mess up everything. And now we can basically use MUGEN on your Steam Deck and we can play some games. So the process itself will be the same for every single MUGEN game. So we can plug out the controller now. We're not going to need it anymore. So we can't just play the games like this. Again, like you can go out of the game very easily pressing the Steam button. The analog stick doesn't work, sadly, so you need to choose, but you just need to choose between the analog stick or the D-pad. But these MUGEN packs are absolutely crazy. Not alone the amount of games, but also like the weird characters that we can play with. So it's absolutely epic to play some MUGEN on the freaking Steam Deck in this. Thanks to Proton, it's absolutely amazing. Like, funny thing is, like, I do have some issues with my original Windows with these games, like Windows 7 or 10. But with Proton, it seems to be working just fine on the Steam OS. Just try another different weird game that I reconfigured on the Steam Deck itself. So when it comes to MUGEN, it's kind of weird, like depending what kind of model of an engine they're using, because I cannot really configure my D-pad at all, so I need to force myself to play with an analog stick. It's not a big of a deal, but I like the minor problems you will come across when it comes to devices and also like pieces of software like this. But in my opinion, it's pretty damn cool to play the some contour fighters on your Steam Deck. Okay, so next up, let's try a little bit. And this song is going to be stuck in your head forever. I say I just have like a lot of handicap with the freaking analog stick doing super moves, but this is just an absolutely fun game to play. This game makes no sense whatsoever. But of course with M.U.G.E.N you can always like create your own game and slap it on the Steam Deck. There's quite a lot of hassle to do it. There are like some presets over there that you can like having these awesome packs and with some really weird games. This is like the Alien vs Predator fighting game. Some games are pretty damn awesome. Some games are like kinda weird and not like in a good way. This game just looks cool, but it does have some super stuff like that. Alright, so M.U.G.E.N, it's pretty damn awesome, but what I also want to focus on is the gameplay, the indie games and the more demanding games. How are they running and how can we play them nowadays? So let's take a close look and do a quick overview of a couple of games that I've tried in the last couple of months. Alright, so let's go. So this is a beat 'em up, and I must say like this is a game that I just basically picked up a very long time ago. I think it was with a Humble Bundle, something like that. And it's absolutely amazing. One of those hidden gems you can find on Steam. You maybe have never heard of it, but this is so much fun basically playing it. Got some amazing soundtracks. Or that's basically what I think of it. So you can see the battery, it basically pulls 7.7 watts max. So if you're going to play a game like this, you can play it for many hours. Alright, so let's choose arcade mode. So I'm going to choose area 1. We have different characters to choose from. I'm also choosing this guy. I think the middle one you need to unlock. Okay, here you can see like the problem I'm having is like all my opponents are freaking shadows, so it does have some minor problems, but it doesn't really affect the gameplay itself. The idea behind this is like we can just float in the freaking air and we can just bash around, trying to make maximum combos, fill up the bar and trying to get ourselves like an ultimate move. And you can basically do that. Can combine it with all kinds of power moves. You don't have like shooting moves, you cannot do a Kamehameha or something like that. Oh, it's a long time I've played this game. Oh, crap. Just want to give him like a super uppercut, but that didn't work at all. Ow. But somehow this new opponent that appears do have like all the art on it. So it's kind of weird if you ask me that we do have some issue with some characters and some will load up like it should be. Kind of weird. And they keep freaking coming. But the end is like when you're getting better at this game, you can bash through the stages very quickly and it's going to be a lot of fun. Holy shit. I'm going to level up over here. Oh, we're going to get a new opponent. It's going to be an attack dog or something like that. But this game is absolutely fun to play. Got amazing, like, let's say, combos that you can do with it. Amazing soundtracks. And it's absolutely one you should pick up. If you can pick it up for a couple of euros from the freaking Steam store. Or maybe it's even launched on some other stores like the Sony store. Okay, so what's the noise? And this is going to be a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite modes. And I think I will go for the faster car, the UFO. Okay, playing the game is quite easy. You only use one of these joysticks. Left shift button and the right shoulder button, that's it. Depends of course how you want to configure it. You can also use the triggers. And you just need to survive every single round. And if you're going to get falling behind, you will get crushed by the steamroller at the end of the freaking track. Alright, so first round was for me. So let's see what we're going to get with the second round. So the answer to the UFO is like, I'm super lightweighted, so if they will shoot me, I will fly out of the freaking stage instantly. But I'm quite fast. For example, if I'm going to get the light turbo, you can just go all the way to the front. Let the steamroller do his job. Oh crap, almost messed it up. Oh crap, here it comes, here it comes. Oh man. Yeah. So this is basically one of those modes. It's a lot of fun, especially when you're going to play it with 4 players. Or you can even go up to 8 players. Absolutely chaotic. Freaking awesome. Okay, that was number 1. Woo. Oh yeah. Back, I'm falling behind. Crap, I'm falling behind. Oh. Oh crap. Oh. But I think I still won because it was crushed. They were like crushed sooner than I was flying out of the track. Woo. Highway, baby. But this game is such a blast. Easy controls, super easy for everybody to learn. So if some friends come by, they don't play games often, this is such an easy game to play. You need to get used to the controls because you're basically accelerating, braking and steering at one freaking joystick, but... Oh crap, here we come. You also have like King of the Hill. Another cool favorite mode of mine, but still this game, absolutely amazing combination with the steamroller. But this is more like a really pure racing arcade game. I did play the normal game back in the day. But so much fun. Let's see where all the buttons are. So this game pulls 80, 90, 20, almost 20 freaking watts. Oh, it's pulling 20 watts. So when you're going to play this game, you're not going to get amazing battery life. I went from 2 hours up to 1 hour or less than 1 hour. Let's see how I can fire up. Don't know where the freaking buttons are. I can see the list itself. Ah, there it is. I'm getting such an Unreal Tournament vibe here. First blood. Somebody is shooting with a shotgun in my freaking back. But with the career mode you can basically like modify your car itself with all kinds of weapons. Ah, there are the turbo. Or the nice remote. When you're looking at the battery, it drops a little bit now to 18, 19 again. Okay, so let's try the beginning of the game. It's the first stage that we're going to see the whipper. No, don't whip. The guy with the sign are even more annoying. You need to kick them and shoot him. Oh no. Lay down. Or just blow his freaking head off. Splatter bonus. I love myself some shotgun. You get a grenade.
Job would be great if it wasn't for the freaking zombies. That's some good cannoli.
Oh crap! I saw him coming and didn't do anything. Crap! Here he is again. Okay, you're freaking annoying now.
Get busy dying, pal.
They're like freaking annoying, go away. Like I tell you, like bashing around is not going to be working with this game. And I already died. I do have like a very big high score, but that was a very long haul. I just was absolutely like mastering this game. Okay, so let's choose a different character this time. Let's do Dream World. It automatically switches with the freaking music. Okay, I need to get used to this. But here you see, like, it's a totally different way to play. I don't even know how, because it's actually like the first time I ever used that character. Okay, let's see what we're going to get with this version. What's quite interesting that it will give you the option to play with different characters, but also like in a different way. There, like it uses the minigun sometimes. Oh man, man. But the only thing I noticed, I do have like less hearts this character, so. But you really get to focus on that we have the M.U.G.E.N. I'm getting the hang of it. Did find a robot pretty damn hard to play with.
A brawl is surely brewing. You're up.
sniper rifle.
Taking this. Rounds here.
Cruiser, reloading. Incoming. Watch out, Stinger.
Firecrackers.
Did you hear that? Log's not like going down to the pond and chasing trout. Bad stuff down there. LMG here.
Stinger. Get out of my...
Good looking, you idiot. So sorry.
Need to reload. Loader incoming.
Okay, fellas. Keep your eyes open. Hi-ya! Katana slash. Go! Enjoy history. Hi-ya!
Another thing I really liked about Steam Deck is the emulation performance. This device has so much potential. Of course, I think when you look at the Steam Deck, it's more like an extra. And I mean, like, this device can play your Steam games, but also play emulation. I think the combination of those two is absolutely amazing. Because when you're looking at the handhelds nowadays, we have so many options when it comes to playing retro games on the go. And those handhelds are quite powerful, not the power of the Steam Deck of course, but they're like way smaller, like really pocket. Okay, so EmuDeck is one of those software the community created, making emulation and installing it super easy, like drag and drop, and I think a lot of people can do it. And as I'm making this video, maybe they even improved a couple of things on the go. And emulation, it still has some limitations, but they're also improving on that because the emulators are getting better and configured better on the Steam Deck. But I'll give you a quick look how you need to basically set everything up. Like in my previous video, I need to install all the emulators separately from the Discovery store, and that is the thing that we're going to do first. So basically this is not as different than like in my first video, but the thing that we need to do is go to applications, games, emulator, and we're going to install them. But when we have installed them, I recommend you just updating them to the latest version, and when you've done that, basically also open them. So that's the thing that you need to take consideration. Besides the Citra emulator, that is something like a different way, but I'll explain to you later. Also, my good friend from the Retro Game Corp did a completely tutorial how everything works. But I just want to give you a quick explanation how the process works in general. The next thing that we need to do is going through the browser. In this case, it's Mozilla. Open it up and we're going to the website that we're going to need to download the files that's necessary to getting it on the system itself. But let's go to the capture card so I can show you what I mean. Okay, this is the website that we need to visit for getting all of the files, and also they did a written guide how you need to set it all up. It explains itself fairly well, like what you need to do and what it will bring to the table. So basically all the mumbo jumbo I had in the beginning, it will be going away simply by the 5-step guide. I can still remember like Retro Game Corp did a video and it was with his video the steps, so he changed some things out. But the next thing that we need to do is going to the download your installer. You can get yourself the SD card edition or the internal storage. Take consideration which option you choose. I go for the SD card and we'll put every single file on the SD card. And there we're going to configure everything. Okay, so next up I need to point out the EmuDeck software. You need to download this separately. If you have some problems finding it on the website, you can always use Google itself. And you will basically need the file to get everything in your SteamOS or gaming mode. Okay, so over here we're going to get two files. So I already shown you, like, I'm going to use the EmuDeck SD function simply because I just want to use the SD card. But the question remains, do you have installed it and have you been formatting it? That is something, the first thing that you need to do, of course. So when you have done that, then you can basically use the application over here. And when you have done that, everything has been set up. Okay, so when everything has been set up, in my case on the SD card, we're not going to get the new folder. That's something that I basically added myself. But what you're going to get is the BIOS, the ROMs and the tools. So with the ROM files here, you can slap in all of your files of basically the, let's say, the games that you want to add. This is like super easy. And what I love about it, you don't need to have like all the hassle walking through all the emulators, trying to basically set everything up. And when done, you basically open up the Steam ROM manager. You're going to execute, and what you're going to do is going online, and there you're going to like get all of your games together. Like with the preview, you generate an app list, you will download all of your images, and that's it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, so when everything has been set up and everything seems to be working fine, you can go back to the gaming mode, and every single, let's say, game or application has been entered in your non-app list. This is like normally like a nightmare to set up, but this program makes it so much easier. But not beside the point that it is going to be super easy, it's also the case that we basically like have like everything set up inside a folder and everything looks very nice. Of course, there will always be like a small problem with some of the covers. Here we're going to get Cartoon Fighter, that's my MUGEN game, I didn't set it up because the program didn't implement that. And here we're going to get Devil Kings. That's a game that somehow you need to mess around with the name file or just basically add your own files to it. Here you can see like we're having Finding Force 64, such a weird thing. Doesn't recognize it, but there are like the minor things. Or we're going to get Double because it noticed like two files in it. You can always like basically remove one of these. For example, if you're going to remove one of those, you can go to Manage. And you can remove it from the Steam list and basically clean it up a little bit. That's something you just need to do for yourself and make just basically everything nice. And what you can do is like click on the game and you can just play it and automatically boot up the emulator and all the settings have been preset for you. But let's do some gameplay and let's do some testing because everything works very well now. Okay, before we're going to play a game, by the way, it's like Emulation Station also have been implemented in the launcher already. You don't need to like download it separately. And this is basically freaking awesome. So here you can just scroll through your games a different way. If you don't have to have like all the big decals, all of your big collection is going to be in here. So the device itself is capable of running so much stuff, but I just want to focus on the high end like I did before in my main review. And yeah, I will like show some 8-bit stuff just for fun, to show you how it will look. But in overall, the performance is the most interesting, of course, when you're looking at PlayStation Portable. Okay, so let's first start with some freaking Doom, old school style. I can't help myself, even if I have like a beefcake device like a Steam Deck, I always try to play some Doom. I love Doom. We're going to skip everything and we're just going to the end. But if you want to go out of the game, you just press the Steam button, exit, confirm. The only downside is when you're using Emulation Station, I've noticed that it will go straight back to the basically this option, so you need to boot it up if you want to use Emulation Station again. So it's a little bit of a bummer, but that is, I think, not a big of an issue, but maybe you can fix it, or people just like it in general like that. But let's try some different games that are more demanding, of course, and let's have just some fun. Another not really demanding game, but I just really love this game. By the way, I love the soundtrack. I've played this game so much as a child, like absolutely crazy amount of time spent on this game. I love pinball, but this game is so fun. Another thing I love about it is they're using the old school filter, like you're still actually playing on an XL Game Boy. And also the side banners are amazing, are just freaking awesome. But you can see like with the not really, like the basic games, it only draws around 7 watts. Alright guys, so next up let's play some 16-bit. I did notice like they didn't configure the analog stick for the people who just want to play with analog stick, so it's not a big of a deal, but I just want to point it out. So I also use up around 7 watts. What I like about these old school games, they will use a lot of power, so you can play a lot and very long. My battery life is at 57%. I'm having like 3 hours plus to play, so that's quite a lot. And the music on these 2 tiny speakers on the Steam Deck are amazing. Alright, so let's play some Sega 32X. Such a weird game, to be honest. But not a really bad game. I always grew up with Tekken, so I basically skipped the franchise Virtual Fighter. I know, it's bad. It's bad of mine. I'm a big fan of fighting games, but I just skipped this. Recently I did play it on my Sega Saturn, and I personally really love part 2 with the system, or series. But it was of course not on the Sega 32X. And I got my ass whooped like always. Yep. Yeah, just punch me in the face, whatever. Ooh, did you see that move? Whatcha? Big bitches. Yeah, you can see like it goes to 8 watts again. Nothing really special. So when we have like these cheap handhelds from China, we have a lot of struggles. Of course, depends how you will set up the Steam Deck and what kind of emulator you're going to use. So you can see like the analog stick does work with this game. Oh, by the way, I'm a big noob, a Killer Instinct. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Alright, that didn't go well. I'm like Chun-Li, you know. GG win, absolutely. So this game always gives me so much trouble when it comes to, let's say, emulation on cheap devices. But when you're going to get a beefy device like in Steam Deck, it will run just fine without any hassle. Okay, so next up, system like Sega Saturn. You do see them more often now on cheap devices, but like a Steam Deck, you can play basically without any hassle. We'll try a couple of games, or maybe one game, and later on I will do some extended testing. And I just wanted to see how this runs. Ooh, some minor hiccups, but I was just really curious how a couple of games will run on the Sega Saturn. But somehow I do miss some audio effects on this. It's a little bit of a bummer if you ask me. And of course crashing like always. I really suck at this game. I did play the Dreamcast version and I think that game is, let's say, more fun. Because I can actually play it. So let's try another one. I'll see if we will have any issues here. So the idea behind Sonic Air, it's quite interesting, but I never liked this game. It's such a weird experience. I'm more like Sonic the Hedgehog need to be a two-dimensional game, and you just need to run. Okay, so we need to use the D-pad. We do have sound effect and music in this game. Alright, so next up, let's try some PlayStation Portable.
Keep passing cars. Let's start.
Oh crap.
I like to go fast. Drift more. Let's start.
Youngest will be chosen.
I'm not afraid anymore.
Battle 1. Fight.
You're not afraid of more.
Battle 2.
You should have.
Fight.
You can fly, fly like a little angel. Okay, so basically this is the first game that I ever bought for my PlayStation Portable, fired up. It reminds me so much as, like, I think the game was Twist on Metal, yeah. So another game I played a lot on the PlayStation 1. So this game is such a fun memory to play. Of course, the ultimate benchmark is God of War. Personally, I really love this game. We had so many issues. This game was basically unplayable on most devices. I don't mean like the most devices, like a normal PSP emulator from Embernick. They had a lot of issues, or you need to put in a lot of tweaks. But this game runs just fine, as you can see. Pulls around to 9.3, 9.4 watts, 9.6 from the battery. 9.7, 9.8. Ooh. But of course, it's a more demanding game. Slice and dice, that is what the Code of War is about. Slice and dice, whip everybody who is naughty. Woo. You are naughty too. But I think when you're looking at the Steam Deck, I think the most exciting thing is that we can actually play some PlayStation 2 games. A lot of devices don't even have this option, or you need to have like a very expensive phone or handheld that has the options too. And with a device like this, we finally have the options to do that. And when it comes to emulation performance, it's pretty damn good.
What are you looking at, fuzzhead?
You're talking to me, fuzzhead? Well, look at your own face. You look like a fuzzhead. Just want to give you an idea how long the loading times are. They're not significant, let's say, shorter, but can just use both the D-pad and the analog stick. I messed up. I'm always finding this such a weird game, like the graphics. and how it plays. I'm almost getting the feeling I'm in automatic drifting mode or something like that. And not particularly I hate this game or something, but I never played it that much. I can appreciate it like of the way how it looks, how unique it is. So besides PlayStation Portable and PlayStation 2, we can also play some GameCube and Wii games on this device. It's pretty damn awesome. Take consideration as I make this video, it's still an early phase. But in other words, this thing has the option to play GameCube, and I think it's pretty damn awesome. Games, and when you're going to be upscaling this and playing this on a Steam Deck, it is such an amazing experience. Okay, when you're looking at the performance of the Sega Dreamcast, it's going to be like an amazing experience on the Steam Deck. So I think Sega Dreamcast, if you're a big fan of it and you want to bring the games with you, this is one of the ways you can do it nowadays. But if you want to go old school with PlayStation 1, that is of course possible with the Steam Deck. And because of the power of the device, we can even upscale it in better resolutions or higher resolution, so it looks even better than your typical M.U.G.E.N handheld. And I think if you love PlayStation, just like I do, I think this is such a cool experience, and it will give you a little bit extra, especially when you're looking at the way how it looks and more like the graphical. And when it's upscaled on this tiny display, it looks amazing. I bought this for way too much money, and I mean like when I was into the scalper jungle. The Steam Deck is absolutely a great product in many different ways. And of course, as you're waiting, they're going to be like releasing way newer, let's say, emulators, better software, and also the compatibility with the games is going to become even better and better in the future. This thing is absolutely promising, and I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do. The software itself, it would be even cooler if you can, let's say, implement it on a PC and make yourself like an awesome mini Steam OS machine. The last couple of months I have seen so many improvements on the Steam Deck, and including, let's say, new kind of games are supported, and you can play so many cool games on the go. Emulation, M.U.G.E.N, or just your typical indie game or 3D shooters. A lot of stuff will run now, but also in the future, and this thing is very promising. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become a Wicked family, and it would be great to see you in the next video.